world still needs superheroes. So let's get out there. Let's take these cocksuckers down.
We are famous now.
Don't you worry. Daddy's home.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I am Bo Oliver, joined today by Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, and Teddy, and we are back for our final review of The Boys, Season 2, Episode 8, What I Know, the season finale. And we would like to tell you guys that you can listen to this episode of Nerd Soup on iTunes, Spotify, all the places for podcasts, Google Podcasts, and you can find all of those different places at our Buzzsprout link, our podcast feed. And once you click the link, you'll see it, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify. So if you want to listen to the audio-only version of this video, go right ahead. But for this episode, we figured since the finale had so many twists and turns, so many plot twists and things to talk about, that we would just go ahead and do an audio-only version of this review because it's going to go a little long. It may go 50 minutes, an hour. So
we're lazy.
My head turned into a mush after this episode. Just
you got your head snapped?
Blew my mind. Yeah, I guess. Newman
paid you a visit.
I was so animated watching those final scenes. I loved it. I was like, oh my God. And then I was laughing. And I was like, oh no.
No, this episode from top to bottom was probably the best of the entire series so far. And I was at the edge of my seat. I was cheering. I was getting chills.
Literally,
I was almost crying. Every emotion came out there in this episode of The Boys, which I think ever since episode 6, it really kicked it into gear. And this season has been fantastic. The second half. First half was great too, but the second half really took it to another level.
Do you think directors heeded my words when I said that I don't know how they're going to tie us together and pull us in?
They found a time machine, went back in time. It's like, all right, we need to make a satisfying ending for Teddy. So, yeah.
Well, they did it. So,
well, the beginning of this episode, that instructional video for the kids that Homelander recorded for the public
I was
schools,
cracking up, dude.
That was amazing. It was so well done. Homelander he's very stern, but warm and friendly.
Teachers getting armed.
It was I got Captain America Homecoming vibes, spinning around the chair, talking to the kids.
Everyone was talking about, especially after this episode, that Anthony Starr needs to be nominated for an Emmy. And if you just watch this episode alone, it's like every version of Homelander was in this episode and done just absolutely perfectly.
He almost caught me feeling bad for him.
We say this every week. It's like, damn, do I feel bad
every
for
single
Homelander?
time, man?
He legit played basically every human emotion that's ever existed in this episode. He's playing like 17 different characters in one character at all times. It's fantastic.
Like the moments with Ryan were so like when he's trying to be a good dad. Like I was like, oh.
He's turning a leaf.
That's nice.
Yes, yeah.
And then, Stormfront's talking about white genocide. Homelander gives her that look. It's like, maybe he isn't so bad.
He did the blinky eyes gif.
Yeah. And then it's like, yeah. Nah, he's a giant piece of shit. But they still show those moments of weakness. They still show those moments of, like, humanity or when he's trying to have some sort of human relationship. And especially, he brings it up, too, when he's talking to Ryan about his upbringing with the doctors and how they were scared of him, and he really had no one growing up, and that he would be there for him. And I don't know, the show does a great job of showing these human moments with these characters that are monsters.
That was the most personal I felt to Homelander right there, when he was opening up to Ryan and actually trying to get him to use his powers. I kind of want a relationship between them two. In an alternate world, I would love them to be like a father-son thing.
Well, Ryan is how all these characters get brought together. They're all kind of just battling over, and that's the thing. They can't have a relationship because he's out of his fucking mind. Because as nice as he's being in this moment, across the room, he's got his Nazi Hitler girlfriend. And that's why this is a dangerous situation for Ryan. And I thought the MVP of this episode, it could be Anthony Starr, but I think Becca, the actress who played Becca, Chantel Van Santen.
Very good.
All throughout, I mean, the emotion that she portrayed to get back to her son, to protect her son, and the relationship they have, it just shows the trust that they built together is why Ryan goes with Butcher at the end.
That scene at the end was very powerful with Becca and Butcher. We get that soft side from Butcher finally.
Right.
When he's crying, saying that, I couldn't do it to him.
Well, that ending was just
but then he picks up the crowbar. And it's like, fuck that kid.
Right, yeah, no, he was ready to just smash this kid's brains in. And that situation, it's it feels like Becca sacrificed herself for her child. That in her death, it wasn't something that she meant to do. It was an inadvertent death, obviously.
Well, even in the beginning, when all the boys are just fascinated with Becca, when she first shows up to the hideout.
Everyone's staring at her, smiling.
Bringing her sandwiches, crowding her, knowing what she likes to drink and all that stuff.
They remind me of Superman's death in Man of Steel, that his dad died because he didn't want him to show off his powers. In this, it's a little different, but it's going to be a cautionary tale for this boy for the rest of his life. It's unfortunate, obviously, that he inadvertently killed his own mom, but I think right there, that's the ultimate lesson of how if this power isn't controlled, that you can hurt the people you love.
Did you like the decision to give him to Mallory, though?
What the hell is he going to do? Run around with a little super
Stick with Butcher? What do you mean? You kidding
He's
me?
going to raise the super Butcher?
That's a big boy right there.
He gave him the only lesson that he needed.
Yeah.
Don't be a cunt.
That was so funny.
What did I teach you? Well, I'm hoping that Mallory sends him somewhere far into Wyoming, rural Wyoming, random family,
Underground.
changed name, and they'll just never hear of this kid ever again. Just give him, because Becca, like Becca said to Butcher, she always believed that he was going to be good. So if you keep him on that trajectory, maybe even, give him some normalcy here. He hasn't had that normal life. Everything has kind of been fake-ish. Better than Homelander, but
He is getting that
I
Superman
don't mind him
treatment.
going with Mallory. I'm sure Mallory's going to hook him up.
Yeah.
I love Mallory.
House
First of
like
all,
Can't trust him,
Xbox.
though, man.
Mallory is the goated CIA handler. She is just the coolest character in this show. With all these goddamn cool personalities, nothing bothers this woman.
I like in the beginning, too, when Mallory and Newman go to, the vice president and is telling him to try to stop the V from going out.
And in that scene, they feel like they're on their last legs, that the president is going to approve Compound V through the FDA.
Well, yeah, because the result of last episode of all the heads exploding is that Vought did what we thought they would, and they just said,
They spin into a terrorist attack.
yeah, and it's like, all right, now we need to produce Compound V, give it to what they say, first responders and people like that.
They say
And-
$5 million a dose.
Yeah,
The Compound V.
and how Edgar says in that conversation with Butcher, all he cares about is the stock price. So that was an interesting turn, and we'll get to it later. But I find that super interesting when we talk about Newman now, because all of that, when you look back on the season, it all kind of changes, and when you try to dissect what she's actually trying to do.
That scene with Edgar and Butcher was very tense scene too. I love that plot that Edgar did. He just turned to stock. That's all he cares about is the stock price.
Well, that was a great commentary on what it is to be CEO of one of
Yeah.
these Fortune 500 companies. They're always talking, why doesn't Bob Iger ever comment about the atrocities in China? Because Bob Iger's got a lot of money to make in China. And I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but that's how these people operate.
Yep.
It's all about the stock price. That's their job. They're held accountable to people.
Guys like us.
Yeah, that's what they
go on stocks. It's like,
And the line about how Butcher's asking him, how doesn't Stormfront bother him? Look in the mirror. And when he's like, I can't lash out like a raging maniac. That's a privilege for white people only. The commentary throughout this season has been great. But, I mean, when you look at Barack Obama and the way that man had to carry himself, and you compare that to our current politicians, that's the thing. It's Edgar's great at portraying calm and stoic on the outside, but he is a ruthless bastard on the inside. And Giancarlo Esposito is just one of the best actors we have today. So that exchange was great.
that comment he calls Butcher, when Butcher says that when he gets the boys and leaves a cell phone there to pick him up, Butcher is just as bad as these guys too, man. He's not a saint.
Yeah, but he did have that moment of like, all right, I got to do the right thing here. And I guess that's with Billy. Like, just like even with that story we heard about him with Lenny and how he always had this temper, I feel like he's done a better job of kind of, grabbing the not the crossbow, that would have been grabbing the crowbar, but realizing
You
that
can't do it.
You can't do that.
Perfect timing with
Yeah.
Homelander coming.
Making the deal and then at the last second leaving the phone and taking Ryan.
Did Homelander save Ryan?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely, because Butcher was really about to beat this kid's brains out. And then Homelander kind of puts things in perspective, kind of reminds him who are the true villains here. And, just a very throwaway line was when Ryan looks at Billy for the first time when they storm into the cabin. And he says, who is that? And Becca says, that's my husband. That's all he needed. It just goes to show the bond that he had with his mother, and that bond that doesn't exist with Homelander.
If he wouldn't have let Becca go, because he was trying to not let Becca go. At that time, I was like, he really can't let her come. It's going to be a soup battle. And then when Butcher realizes that he really wouldn't have came to him if Becca wasn't there.
Right, yeah, definitely.
And then it's a whole different outcome.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. Oh, I have to come. Why? It's like, because he's my son. It's like, oh, this isn't going to be safe for you. You're
Yeah.
probably going to die. But there was a reason for it,
Yeah.
so that Ryan would come and trust Billy.
I love their prep too when they were getting all the
Yes.
superhero defense weapons
Wait,
together.
the montage or even before the montage? Because I love when they were talking about how they were going to kill them all.
Oh yeah,
Like,
and
we
it's
got
like
this
they're
for-
just gonna make 100 more. It's like we'll kill those cunts too.
It's like, so that's the plan, just kill them all?
Yeah.
Yep. Really got nothing left to do here, boys.
Yeah, I love that. And
They were ready to just go out fighting. Mother's Milk says it. They attacked the country. Fuck them.
Yeah, so that was a great.
But the
scene,
second
too.
montage was great as well, when they're all really gearing up.
Another great aspect of this episode was Huey and Starlight too. And when they go see Maeve, I mean,
That was so funny, dude. I was cracking up. Your twink.
Well, she said that she'd split him like dry firewood.
yeah. Do you think Maeve smokes so much because like she just doesn't affect her lungs? That'd be sick as hell. I smoke like 5 packs a day.
Yeah, she just gets the
I think
nice
she just-
little nicotine, nice little lightheadedness, but the lungs are fine.
She's just giving. You can tell that she's just given up on life, just by her mannerisms in the house, and she's just over it.
Well, we talked about this on the last episode, the nihilistic attitude, the fatalistic attitudes that a lot of these characters have. And with Maeve, you're thinking that she's never going to get out of it. Because I think when she does come and fights with them in the end, it was such a surprise to me. Because this scene, she just seems, like you said, she's out of it, man.
Yeah.
She's not ready to fight. And
Yeah.
she doesn't believe in the fight. There's nothing that she stands for anymore, that she believes in. It's not until that she realizes that a Nazi made her way into the Seven that I'm a damn American. But no, that scene was...
She hits her with that side eye in Vought Tower. When she's
Yeah,
walking
she
by.
did. She's like, okay, it's time to get off the bench here. Let's show these motherfuckers who Queen
Time to
Maeve
pinch
is.
it in here.
Yeah, but Starlight once again is trying to, and that's the thing with Maeve. With her relationship with Starlight, it always felt like it's too late for me, but I'm going to try and guide you onto a better path
Starlight
She
for
did it in
Maeve.
like she's always done it in
in a kind of backhanded way.
yeah, even with Translucent in the first season, it's like she never like took her under the wing. It's like you got to do this, just because they're like this, but
Just
she
slight
did it in the
comments.
way that she kind of could.
She's
I
like
guess.
Homelander light. I mean, that's the thing. Even in season 1, where we thought that she would eventually get the redemption story, what she does on that plane, it's not as bad as what Homelander did, but she's complicit, man. I mean, that's on both of them.
What is she gonna do?
Yeah, you gotta see her point of view though, man. She can't stop that.
Why not?
She can't
You're
fly.
a
She
hero.
can't take Homelander
Yeah, that's
on.
the thing. She's okay with being Maeve. She was okay with those situations because she wanted to maintain her position. Because she felt like it was an unwinnable battle. What does she call it? Suicide? But it's not even that it's suicide. It's worthless because it's not going to change anything.
But they didn't go there to kill those people on the plane though.
I know. I don't want to talk too much
All right,
about
yeah.
but I'm just saying Maeve isn't someone like Aaron has been saying. He hasn't said, oh, Starlight, I'm on your side.
Oh,
She's
right,
kind of
all right,
playing
yeah.
both sides. She plays
Yeah.
coy with it. At times, she's all about the Seven, and at times, she's more about herself or doing the right thing.
It's a good move though.
Yeah, she's in a... That's what it is to be in this situation. It's tough. It's
Yeah.
very tough. I'm not saying Maeve's a horrible person, but that is on you, what happened in that plane. And like Elena says, who knows what else you did? And she says, I'm not blaming you, but you're a fucked up person. You've been manipulated into doing many fucked up things. So that's why I thought that exchange was, okay, Maeve's out. We're not getting Maeve to help.
Well, yeah. So, the reason why they went there is they got her to testify because, like we said before, they're gonna go forward with the V being available for just purchase, I guess. And now,
At the 7-Eleven?
yeah,
It's gonna be one of those little
V-flavored
packets.
Slurpee. Yeah, right next to the dick
The
pills.
extends.
But A-Train came to the club. Even before A-Train came, though, that conversation between Huey and Starlight about the Billy Joel, she finally asked the question, like, what's wrong with you and this Billy Joel? And he talks about how his mother just up and left him when he was 6, which that explains the reason why he's always looking at, like, he finds himself in, like, these situations where he'll do anything to, I guess, either protect or try to help somebody because he just wants to, I don't know, I guess, be with people and stick with relationships because his mother left him kind of.
Well, he wants to prove
Yeah.
prove everyone wrong that like he can do it too. And Starlight even asks him, "Why do you stick around?" He wants to be there for her, but he also wants to prove to himself that he's part of the team, that he can do these things.
Definitely scared the shit out of me when A-Train popped up.
That was
I had my
so-
headphones out. I was watching on my phone, bro. I fucking shit my
I
pants.
love that when they're like,
Hey,
how'd
guys.
you find us? He's like, took me a couple hours. I just did a tour of the boroughs.
I can cover the boroughs in 3 hours.
Yeah, I just looked. And we talked about this before, the boys being wanted and just walking around freely. A-Train could have found them at any point in this episode. He just didn't want to.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's the thing. They just let them go around free. They just didn't care.
I wondered that through this whole season, like how these guys still walking around in public. It made no sense to me. But
Yeah.
now it's like they just like they don't care too much to get them because they think they're nothing.
They did The Simpsons. They were like, there they are. Just draw on the wanted poster. Give Mother's Milk a nice mustache. But A-Train I thought was so funny in this scene, man. When he calls Huey a bitch.
Yeah.
We're even now, bitch.
Or even when he's like, fuck that Nazi bitch. Yeah, he was great. And we saw why he wanted to help them, the scene before when Edgar sits down with
Alistar.
Alistar, yeah.
When he also offers him a fresca, awful stuff.
That's a lie.
That is so true. Alistar was so offended.
A-Train overheard the conversation, right? Alistar didn't tell him, or Edgar didn't tell him.
Well,
yeah,
no,
A-Train was spying.
You saw like the napkin blow in the winds. Like he kind of ran in
Right.
before they started talking. They were talking about getting the deep and A-Train in. They only took the deep. What do you say? It's one's redemption, two is weakness.
Yes.
Good point.
Well, that's why I love the ending when they're like, Vought needs to take a firm anti-Nazi stance. It's all just politics to these people.
Mm-hmm.
Vought has to take a firm anti-Nazi stance. Can you imagine a company? What have you done as a company that you need to take this stance? Oh, you let a Nazi infiltrate your ranks.
Should we take an anti-Nazi stance?
Yeah, that's the thing. How do you take an anti-Nazi stance? It's so.
Well, I'm taking one.
We haven't taken one yet.
I
What does
know.
that say about us?
So make it known now. Say it.
Right, yeah, no, we're anti-Nazi, without a doubt. No, yeah, that conversation between... I always love when two powerful people talk shop, talking business.
Oh yeah, always makes for a great scene.
Yeah, it really does, and these two were great. More Giancarlo is always better. Whenever I watch a movie, I'm like, this movie would be better with Giancarlo Esposito.
I love the way they use him, man. I've been, like you said, I've been wanting more Giancarlo. I've been wanting more Giancarlo
Me too.
Yeah.
He really shit the bed in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was hot in the beginning.
I've been wanting more.
He had a good playoffs.
Yeah,
Good
he
job,
did.
Stan.
6 home runs.
I'll say Edgar. I've been wanting more Edgar, but I love the way they use him, where he is in the shadows, but he's not at all.
Right, yeah, he's arguably the most powerful man in the show, and I
Yeah.
think he's less of a villain with what we saw now. I mean, obviously, kidnapping a kid is not necessarily heroic, but he is just through and through a businessman. And that opens up so many doors in my head as to why he was corresponding with Stormfront, because that's what Starlight says, that she hacked into her computer, or she saw the emails on her computer that she was contacting Edgar and saying, oh, it's going great at Grove's State Facility. But Edgar never addresses this.
No.
The
Well,
kid-
he says
the kid's
that-
being
Oh
tested.
yeah,
Like
Edgar,
his
I thought
just-
Edgar didn't know about that. I forgot he did.
His
Well, we don't know
justifica-
if that's even true. Those emails could be fake, but
Right.
I don't know.
I doubt that.
Well, his justification for having Stormfront is that she's good at getting people like worked up. I
Pissed
guess.
off.
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
fear is a good selling point for Compound V, because
Yeah.
that's a good thing to sell, that we need this to combat
Fear
the
rises the
terrorists.
stock prices.
Oh, yeah.
I love when Billy comes home too, and he's like, I forget. He's like, "What have you guys been doing? Fuck all." It's like, "Oh no, we found fuck all." It's like I don't know how that saying works, but
Well, in the beginning of the season, when they release the news that Compound V has been injected into all the people, Billy doesn't even care. He doesn't even congratulate. He barely congratulates you. He says, nice one. But now you could see, he looks at both of them. He says, this is a fucking jackpot.
Yeah.
This is finally, they're about to get their major win with the combination of him finding out where Ryan is and this information being released. And that was so funny when all those pictures were released and they were talking about it on the news with Stormfront as a Nazi.
Grubbles. Was that his name? Grubbles?
And Himmler.
Goebbels.
Goebbels, yeah. Goebbels.
They're like Nazi Muppets. I love the little the bar on the news clipping that said Stormfront connected to the Epstein murder? ? They have so many funny Easter eggs with that.
Well, even like in the beginning, like the news, when they showed what happened with Congress, it's like trigger warning, decapitation.
Warning. If you're a little squeamish, you may want to look away.
Yeah, like the memes, the twinkle, Nazi, whatever it was.
He was
It's
like,
catchy.
Yeah, that's a little catchy.
Run her over with your car.
But yeah, she gets the news. I guess that was part of the plan. She gets the news. She flies away, and then they use the Beats
Ultrasound?
pills to get.
Yeah, this
The
Vought.
Vought pills.
Yeah.
That's another funny Easter egg, is that Vought owns everything. Every product, there's a Vought version of that product. That's so. I always hate that when that happens to Superman, when it's a sound that he can't find. That is so goddamn irritating. But yeah, that's how they snag up snag up Ryan.
Yeah, it was a great Becca convincing him to go, and even just Billy making that decision to leave the phone there and leading them astray. It's it just shows that might not be something Billy would have done in
For the
season
concept
1.
vault.
Yeah,
Tough lickings for those fucking officers, huh?
yeah. It's like, did I hear you say butcher?
He is scary, man. Where's my shot?
Dude, those laser eyes, those are fucking nuts.
That's the thing. If you're face to face with Homelander, how is that? He was just speechless. That
Had
man.
no one just tell him where he is?
Yeah.
But
Butcher's got him that way.
He said he's gonna leave the phone here, but he took off.
I mean, you're dead either way. Homelander's
Yeah.
just gonna fucking kill you.
Oh, and he walks out all bloody, dude. Poor bastards, dude.
Well, Becca and Butcher have so many great scenes between each other, and this is a great one too, where he's telling Becca, "Let me do this one thing the right way. This has felt like a never-ending battle, and it feels like they never get any victories. At the very least, you and Ryan can continue your lives without any threat of Vought coming to get you. I'll keep you safe." And that's taken from him because Stormfront shows
Yeah,
up. But
Stormfront pulls up.
the two actors in that scene,
I thought they
they're
were
just
done in the car. I thought all of them were just dead.
How did I'll give it a pass because it's the boys and it's ridiculous, but the way people survive car crashes in movies pisses me off.
Yeah.
They're dead. Come on.
I got into one car accident in my life, and I literally almost died, and it wasn't even that bad.
You fucking jerk your neck all of a sudden.
Yeah. People are getting flipped.
Like Kamiko just got to crack it back. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Oh my god, dude! When she cracked her neck back, I like, let's go. I thought it was. Do you think that was gonna be a lame way to die, like that? Like snap her neck too, like her brother.
No, well, I didn't think Kamiko was dead in that.
You didn't think
moment.
so?
No.
I thought
No,
for sure
she's
she was
someone
dead.
she can revive.
It was known she can revive herself.
Yes, season 1
When did she revive herself?
when the Noir poked her up.
Oh shit!
Yeah, no, she came back to life. She's good
I
at
guess
that.
it's less compelling for me then.
This was just so fun to watch to see Stormfront, all concerned, finally is being,
She's overwhelmed.
yeah, she's finally on the ropes here.
She's getting fucking beat down.
Yeah, no, she shows up and she sells. She's like, "Those are deep fakes."
Well, even with Kamiko too, earlier she had that conversation with Frenchie when they were getting ready to go, and she was saying that what if she freezes again? And here she just laughs. I thought that was awesome.
That was amazing. And he interprets the sign language.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Said she's gonna stick her boot in your Nazi kitty. I
love
laughed
Frenchie.
too, man.
he's a fast learner, man.
Yeah, that's the other thing. What is this guy, Sherlock Holmes? He can learn an entirely new sign language in 3 days.
Did this guy Frenchie really tell Stormfront exactly where the RPG was? We have to get the RPG. It's in the car under the overhang.
It's our only chance.
She just blows
Without
it
it,
up.
we'll die. Kamiko and Starlight fighting Stormfront at first. I was obviously rooting for them, but I thought this isn't going to go well. Stormfront is going to kill somebody here. Somebody is losing their life because Stormfront is enraged. And hey, Kraut, to me, might be the line of the show.
Yeah.
Line of the season, without a doubt. It was perfect because it didn't register until they actually showed her.
Yep.
And she just took it old school, son. She took it to the boxing gym. She's like, "I'm not using any powers. I'm just going to 1-2 you."
Yo,
Well, that's why I love this fight scene. It wasn't like an over choreographed superhero. Like sometimes those are great, but for this show, it's just like it's just like a street fight.
they just went
There's-
gang on her and stopped her.
They just Office Space her, dude. They just treated her like the printer.
I was cracking up, dude.
And
they-
that's why it was so satisfying because they were just beating the shit out of her.
Oh,
Then
it was
punch
such a
after punch.
great scene. I almost cried. I don't know why.
No, the best part of that scene is when they pan to the boys. And
Frenchie?
No, they pan to like Frenchie, Mother's Milk, and Huey, and then you just hear him saying "fucking bitch," and then stomping on her.
Yeah, die, Nazi bitch.
Girls do get it done.
Yeah.
Did that movie come out already?
I don't know.
How does he know the catchphrase? They might have to redo production after this episode.
Yeah, no,
Reboot
they're
the
gonna have
franchise.
to. They're gonna have to do some reshoots. Get Christopher Plummer in to play Stormfront. Definitely gonna need a recast. Well, I also like when you said that you can hear them calling her a bitch in the
Yeah.
background. That as the fight turned in their favor, Kamiko and Starlight became more verbal. They were
Yeah.
front running because
Yep.
Maeve came and saved the day, and they really got into it. And I love how Maeve is kind of like standing back and allowing them to get their shots in. You know, they get hit at times, and then Maeve will come in and weaken her some more.
Dude,
Miko
Starlight,
trying to rip off her face.
Trying to do the classic move. And yeah, no, they eventually just get her on the floor and just start kicking her.
Starlight isn't that powerful. Her powers, for what we saw, I guess, she's not that strong.
Well, I
She's
think
got
this
some
was
super strength.
I think this was
with
to
some
make
of
the case
hits.
that Stormfront is just
A lot stronger.
yeah,
Yeah,
she's
I guess.
maybe on par with Maeve, but as we saw, probably not.
I read up on the comics because now that she's basically dead, that I can look up at some of the character stuff without getting spoiled. And they said, like, in the comics, he's the second strongest behind Homelander.
Okay.
Well, Stormfront's a guy in the comics, but so I guess she is the second strongest behind Homelander in the show as well.
You would think Ryan would be the second strongest.
Not yet.
One day.
Hopefully. Andres made a great point too earlier when he said they might Darth Vader Stormfront.
I think so. I don't think she's dead. Do you guys think she's dead?
I thought
Well,
she
they
was
say
dead.
they have her, and Homelander says they have her in a facility or
He
something
says
like that.
but I mean, she's probably just dead. That's just
You
their
think
way
she's dead?
I hope she's dead. I think she is. Yeah.
I don't.
How do you survive that? Are you kidding me?
I think it would be an interesting character to bring back if you made Cyborg Stormfront, where if you did Darth Vader her, because that's instantly it reminded me of Anakin being burned.
Yeah.
When
Hitler
she's speaking the
Palpatine.
German. Yeah. Hitler, go little Hitler Palpatine. Get her on the giant mechanism machine that Palpatine was on. Or I think there's a cool way that they could bring her back as a future villain, because I think the showrunner confirmed that Soldier Boy is going to be the villain in season 3. And they mentioned him in season 2.
I thought he was going to be a good guy.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. So I think Soldier Boy is a villain in the comics as well.
No.
And he described him as Homelander before Homelander, the first Homelander.
Can we get one good
So That's
superhero?
gonna be amazing.
Like a real good superhero? Like a
Starlight.
strong one?
Well, I did love Starlight in the end with her old costume when they
Yeah.
just put her back on the team. She looked
Yeah.
adorable.
But
Stormfront gets away.
Yeah, she goes away, and then she stops Ryan and Butcher and Becca. And another thing I read in the description for the comic Stormfront is that he had this like crazy fear of being blinded, and has a cool little moment when Becca pokes his eye out with the knife.
Oh, really?
Pokes her eye out
That's
with the
cool.
knife. Yeah.
That looked graphic too, man. When
Yeah.
she screamed.
Yeah, it did. And I think her holding up Becca against a tree and Butcher hitting her with the
Go for the other eye, man.
Crowbar shots. She
that
wasn't
to me
moving.
was one of the most disturbing scenes of the entire show, because it's this character that is so superior to you physically that there's nothing you can do. She's just standing there taking the blows, squeezing the life out of this woman. Ryan's crying, and as they focus in on Ryan, you're thinking he's gonna heat blast her.
Yep.
And he does, but he makes a bit of a mess. So, I mean, she
I thought
gets
maybe
cooked.
I thought he was gonna hit Butcher too. I thought it was gonna be Butcher instead
Butcher
of
got
Rebecca.
out scot-free,
I
and
know.
Becca shoot like only one little nick.
Yeah.
And fucking Stormfront looks like a fucking a piece of charcoal.
Yeah.
Yo, he deep fried her ass. Bad.
Imagine Ryan
Old
just.
legs, arms.
Yeah, she's definitely going to come back as Darth Vader. But
Just Darth Vader.
that's the thing. With their powers, we were talking about this before. Why is Maeve so powerful? It's just because of the writers. I think a lot of this show, they just decide. Butcher survived, Stormfront got absolutely cooked, and Becca barely got touched, but she still died. Just
Yeah.
because it may not make sense, but it's
They-
what it is. And
they
in the
proved-
moment, you're not thinking in your head, well, the logistics of...
Yeah, of course not. It's more about what happened and what that means going forward. And
I like those inconsistencies with a show like this, because it's like satire.
They proved it though that they'll do anything they want just off of Black Noir with a tree nut allergy. It's like there is no clear weakness for these superheroes. It's whatever they choose, like you said.
Right, there's not going to be a cool weakness that we need to discover something.
Right,
and
like
then
kryptonite.
Yeah, it's just an almond joy. That's hilarious. But that was, I mean, it's always sad when you kill your own mother
yeah,
accidentally.
no, I think we've all been there before.
Yep.
He's a great... You said it and you agreed with it.
Have you not done it yet?
He was a great child actor, and his performance, too.
He's good in Big Little Lies too.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, that's tough. It's a tough one to. Well, Becca says like make sure he doesn't know, like make sure he knows that it's not his fault.
Right.
It's a Butcher, and I don't know.
Butcher's like, okay, I'll beat him with this pipe.
Yeah, I'll let him know. Go to
It's
sleep.
not your fault.
Go to sleep. I'll let him know.
Yeah, that was an emotional scene. Just thinking about like all Butcher's motivations up until this point, where it was Becca, and losing her basically for a second time. That's got to be terrible.
That man's cry face. He's got a great cry face.
Almost made me cry.
If I'm Ryan, I mean, yeah, he probably had some nice moments after that with Butcher, But you got to think back to that look he gave him, and like, he was gonna kill me with that crowbar.
Well, did Ryan look at Butcher? That's the thing. I don't think Ryan noticed that Butcher picked up the crowbar. I think Ryan.
We only saw Butcher. We didn't see if Ryan was looking at
Yeah,
him.
I don't think they give us a reaction of Ryan.
We
I
don't
think he's
see him
unaware
until-
of that.
Yeah, we don't see Ryan until Homelander comes down. All bloody. Ooh. There was that shot, too, finally. Homelander coming down all bloody.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
overlooking Stormfront, and she's speaking in German, which was so disturbing.
Did we find out what that German was?
She was talking about like her and Frederick fought like under like a tree. I read.
Oh,
Someone
okay.
translated it.
Yeah, it was What a Peaceful Way to Die, or
Yeah.
something to that effect.
It was just her, like, I guess
Can't
her
wait to
brain
see
was
you again or
fried,
something.
so she was just
Her
recalling.
brain was fried.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so disturbing. I mean, it's a very on-the-nose metaphor that this is who she is on the inside. But, yeah, Homelander says, he looks at Ryan, he's like, you do this? I didn't mean to.
I love
was
when
an
he,
accident.
I,
I
love,
swear.
I love when he walks over behind Butcher and he's just fucking standing there. The
That's the
Pattinson
Emmy.
meme.
I was going to text you and say the big two. That's a big two.
That is
Butcher
a
and
big
Ryan.
two. And he stands where in the background you could see him stand in front of his mom. So his mom is no longer in the picture. So it just speaks to the relationship that Butcher had with Becca. But Homelander, Anthony Starr, that's the Emmy right there. When Ryan refuses to go with him, and he starts laughing or crying and cringing,
Yep.
and
Every emotion.
he's
again.
happy, he's enraged, he's trying to hold back, he's indecisive.
He did
Oh my
every
goodness.
emotion. He did every emotion during the show, and then he did every emotion in those 3 seconds.
yeah. Throughout the show, he's hitting every emotion. Then he's like, I'm just gonna hit you with it all in this one moment. And there were times where I thought, that's Heath Ledger right there. The laugh, the blood, the smile. I think he'd be a great Joker in the Matt Reeves movies.
Ew, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
That'd be sick.
but it's Maeve who saves the day because Homelander was ready to.
She has 2 saves in one day.
Yeah, she gets 2 saves.
Good
Yeah,
for her.
Shenton released the plane video, and he kind of has that, like, well, she says, like, I'll release this and no one will ever love you again, and he kind of hears the Homelander chants in his own head, and
Shows how
that's, like, his biggest thing. Like,
self-centered he is. And
when he
fucking
talked about
sociopath.
and like, we had no upbringing, no one that really cared for him in his childhood. That's like his whole life right there. Someone to, I guess, love him. And if it can't be Stillwell, it can't be Stormfront, it's just the masses. So that's the only thing he really has.
Yeah, I think he's weighing the options of being a god in a capitalistic society or being a god in an authoritarian society where I rule over everyone. And history has told us that, especially in modern history, that authoritarian dictators, it usually doesn't end well for a lot of them. So he's hearing all those chants. Things are going well at this. I mean, obviously not at the end of the season. Vaught's kind of on the hot seat here, but he's still maintaining his power. Vaught has built him up with such an incredible rep. I think eventually he is going to go crazy.
Yeah.
It just it's
Matter
one
of time.
Yeah, it's foreshadowing here that he's still kind of weighing his options.
That walk past, dude, that Butcher did with Ryan, so fucking boss, dude.
That was a ballsy walk.
Oh, absolutely.
I thought he was going to brush his shoulder.
He
I was like,
did.
Don't brush. Did he?
He brushed his cape, yeah, dude.
Okay, well the cape is not the shoulder.
Might as well be his shoulder.
Yeah, that is true. That is disrespectful. Tugging on Superman's cape. I thought he was going to turn around and walk the other way. When he walked towards him, that man Butcher.
I was saying myself, it's ballsy, man.
Yeah, he doesn't care, man.
Why does he think he could do that?
Honestly, I don't know, man. He's got Ryan, maybe.
It's
I
like,
don't know.
it's like, I promise to protect him. Against Homelander 101?
With a crowbar?
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He always pulls out that crowbar, whether it's Black Noir, Homelander, Stormfront. I've never seen a man with that much confidence.
But after, like, the wrap-up of the episode, too, it's like, it did...
God only knows
Yeah.
what I'd be.
It did such a great job of,
without you.
like, it felt like an ending for a lot of characters with Huey and Starlight, and then you had Mother's Milk returning home, Kimiko and Frenchie seemingly starting their relationship together. But then you had shit like Newman finding out that she was behind all this shit and adding another wrinkle for what the seasons to come are going to be.
And also Mallory saying that she's got off-the-books funding now. Mm-hmm. And I had read in the comics that the boys are always CIA, even in the beginning of the story, that they are working for the CIA. They're not vigilantes. So this is, I mean, maybe they can take from, because they've changed so much from the comics, but now you have people working officially on the books. So that means we're going to see more Mallory in season 3, which is great for me. And I wonder what type of team they're going to put together, because do Frenchie and Kimiko still fight with them? Mother's Milk?
He went home to
That's
his
going to
kids.
be a
yeah.
hard sell to his wife. I'm on the books now. We have healthcare.
Yeah.
And the Newman reveal. I mean, once again, you're thinking at the end of the episode, they're not going to explain this. She's having the conversation with Alistar, and it's like, oh no, Alistar's about to get his head blown off.
Well, Butcher, I mean, he doesn't really accept the deal, but I feel like his walk away was like,
Yeah, that was Mallory's okay though.
Yeah.
He's in.
Yeah, they knew.
and with
She's like, walk away silently.
and you have Huey and Starlight. Huey saying that he does want to be with them, but he wants to separate himself from the boys and kind of stand on his own 2 feet. I thought that was all done very well.
And she thought that he was ending
Yeah.
the relationship.
No, I'm not an idiot.
No, I'll cling to you. You're bad as hell. And Starlight with the cross, regaining her faith in something. That it's not like a character like Maeve where she's so far gone that she still believes in doing the right thing. And it doesn't necessarily have to be God or any religion. It's just belief in something. And that's what the cross represents.
They really did.
And even
wrap
when
up
her
the
mom
show.
gives her the cross in the beginning and says, this is not for you to wear, I just want you to have it. So instead of showing the world of, oh, look at me, look, throwing all this righteousness in people's faces, just do the right thing, carry it with you in your own way. And I thought that was sweet.
It sucks that Huey is going to be the mole for Newman, essentially. Like, it sucks that it's going to be Huey, I think.
Well, that's the ending with
He's
Huey.
trying to
He
do a
goes
good thing.
Newman's office at Queens, and he wants a job.
Doesn't know what he's going to get
Yeah,
in
I
for.
know.
He just can't avoid the shit, man.
Yeah.
He's
Well, for
always
Newman-
stepping in it.
Well, real quick, we'll talk about the last scene with Alistar and the Deep and A-Train. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Dude. The Deep continues to be the funniest part
Yeah,
of the show.
100%.
I was talking about you about this.
I didn't
the
know
other
that.
day.
Fuck.
Yeah. It's like, I just kind of wanted the D just to have his wacky side quest. It's like never really come into the main story.
Yeah.
Yeah, season 3, I want it to be maybe he gets a part-time job at like a carnival somewhere, and it's just all the wacky adventures he
SeaWorld?
has. Yeah, SeaWorld, right.
Did you ever think that he was full collective? No, right?
Well, as the season went on, I started to realize that the collective was more of a goofy side plot than anything more serious. I thought the last chance that they could legitimize them as a serious threat would be the attack on Congress, but
Yeah.
it looks like that wasn't them, obviously. So no, I mean, he even has that breakdown where
Yeah.
I didn't even laugh when you said we were all whatever. Yeah, no. He was doing it for the benefit, for his own benefit.
Yeah.
And then
I thought it was going to be the Deep that killed Alistar because of what he did. Because I thought I saw drippings of water outside his window. And I thought the Deep was going to like drop a fucking whale on him or something.
that would have been amazing.
And his head blows up.
2 whale killings. And A-Train getting back on the team, man. He's celebrating.
hilarious, yeah.
He leaves.
That was all great. But with Newman, it kind of like, I was a little confused at first, just thinking about like what the killings, I guess, and Cindy, I guess, the biggest red herring of the season.
Oh, absolutely.
But with Newman, it's like,
Well, somebody said that Cindy's powers may be different, but continue.
yeah, it seems like she destroys the whole body.
Right.
And Newman just goes after heads.
Yeah.
But
Maybe they set her up to show, hey, there's someone out there that can also do this if you need to stop her.
Okay, well, you do this. So now, can Newman kill Homelander? Because she killed Shockwave. So, like, how strong is this girl? Like, can she kill anybody?
I mean, the way to figure out Newman is who is she killing and why. When she kills Raynor, it makes me believe that Raynor,
knew something about Newman.
yes, that Raynor knew so much where she was
Yeah.
ready to end.
But it seemed like Raynor was learning on the go, too, with us. Like, it wasn't like I didn't think she knew more than what we knew.
Because I think the best possible explanation, because the thing at Congress helped Vought, the people that she's trying to take down. So maybe she just
Yeah, what we think she's trying to take down, I guess.
She's like the Matt Damon in The Departed. She's somebody that Vought groomed to be this congresswoman
well,
to
it's
keep people off of their
it
shit.
could be a relationship where, because if she was working with Edgar there, that she needs Vought for her own political gain, because having someone to go against is good for business.
Fear,
You
yeah.
can rally people, rally a base, and you have something to strive for and gain momentum politically. And
So she takes out the people, turns Vought into a superpower it is again, with the selling of V to the public. Rise of stock price. Now she's making money. Now Vaught's still going, and she still has a
Well, we
reason to
don't know
fight
if
them.
she's officially working for Vought. With Vought being in this position, she's still allowed to be the adversary. That she's the person who stands up to Vought.
Well, I'm saying she's working with Vought to keep them there too, so she has someone to fight.
Yeah, I mean,
nonetheless.
that's the thing. We don't know how far this relationship goes.
And with Alistair too, it's like maybe they talked about all the information that they had. Maybe they had information on her as well that could be used as blackmail, or maybe she just didn't want to give them the tax exemptions.
Yeah.
I think she needs maybe Vought to, they kind of need each other.
Right.
But it is very interesting to see what they're going to do with that going into next season, because that's probably. I mean, you still have Homelander, right? He's fucking off the rocker, whacking it on top of Vought Tower.
I was fucking cracking up.
Imagine walking by, it's like, oh, bird shit on me.
Another great Easter egg to the brooding superhero overlooking the dark city, and it's Homelander jerking off.
Yeah.
I can do anything I want.
And now you have Newman, who set up she's heading the force or funding the boys at this point, or whatever's left of the boys. But she's also killing off political or political opposition or whatever. So I don't know. We'll definitely get more insight into her plan, but I guess from right now, it's just maybe she's just just causing chaos.
All right, I think we'll go take some questions because we asked her for some fan questions on the old social medias about Season 2 and questions about Season 3, where the story is going to go. So, this first question here from L. Do you think Homelander killed someone in that final scene? That's the thing. Dropping from that height, might not be bird.
They say you
proof.
drop a penny off the Empire State Building.
He's dropping dimes.
Yeah. Oh.
This question here from Mucharo. It seemed that Homelander wasn't really on board with the white genocide shtick. Thoughts?
That's when I thought that he was starting to turn a leaf. When he's
It's
realizing
like he
how
knew
bad
who she
is.
was.
Well, that's why it speaks perfectly to people who may not believe these things, but will recklessly push these ideals on the
100%.
public for their own gain. His whole thing is, we need people to be afraid. We need more Compound V. Stormfront's like that too, but also I'm a supreme racist.
Yeah.
And I mean, you'll go on Twitter sometimes in corners of the internet and you'll see these white genocide people. There are people out there that push this idea. And you can only get through like 3 sentences before wanting to bang your head out. So that's why his look was like, are you serious? Like you don't really believe this, right? Because this is a moment where we're training my son to try and use his heat vision.
Yeah.
And you're bringing up shit. Like you're bringing up the most extremely racist shit you could think of.
I was
in this very
I was
sweet
scared
moment.
for the boys when they went to the house because she had just got done saying that there's people coming to kill us.
Right, yeah.
So I thought he was going to lose it on them.
Good foreshadowing.
Yeah.
You're good at catching foreshadowing, man.
Yeah.
But that whole thing about them standing over a burnt city, not so good.
Yeah.
I bricked on that one, though.
Kinda. This question here from Kevin Oki. What do you think Soldier Boy's part is going to be in Season 3? Well, probably the soundtrack.
Yeah, crank that.
I think it's going to be the classic, hey, I was the original. Maybe the public starts to fawn over Soldier Boy. He's a relic from the past. He was the original.
Where is Soldier Boy right now?
Homelander copied his whole flow.
Copy my whole flow. Oh, my whole style. We don't know. Because
my whole song.
we don't know because they've changed a lot from the comics, and I haven't read up too much into Soldier Boy from the comics, but just from the showrunner's description that he was the original Homelander. So maybe
What if he's frozen, maybe, I guess?
that would be funny as hell. He'll do the Captain America.
Yeah.
Or he may come out of the shadows because he had some sort of relationship with Stormfront. Maybe Stormfront was the original to tell him, like, you're the perfect man to lead us. I wonder what his powers are going to be.
Yeah, like he's lurking in the shadows and something brings him back, like Newman brings him back into us or something.
Well, maybe that's the best way to take your anti-Nazi stance, right? The guy who
You
defeated
bring back
the
Soldier Boy?
Nazis. Yeah,
Yeah, wow.
This is the guy who took them out. Now they need a couple of members here, right?
Yeah.
That would be fun. They put in another member of the Seven to fuck with Homelander.
So who's that right now? It's Maeve, Homelander, Starlight, Noir,
Deep.
and A-Train? So that's 5.
Oh, no, yeah, A-Train. Yeah, they only have 5. They have 2 spots open.
Wow.
Kamiko.
Please.
Black Noir, he's not doing so hot.
He's in ICU, right?
Do you think he's alive?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he's got to be alive. This question here from Real T-Pain Moneyface. Do you feel that Season 2 became a little too on the nose with real-life events, people, in this season? I think you run the risk when you reference so many real-life events of maybe going too far, but I don't think they did. I think it all fit in. Because there's even a moment where she references CNN, but the news station is NNC.
When you do it right, it's like, I didn't care too much because they did it funny, and it was a lot, yes, but they did it in a funny way. I think if comedy, it's done right, then you can do anything you want.
It shows
like
a
when-
satire first and foremost, so that's the shit you're gonna get with the satire, and they do it so well that it doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah, all the lines, the real-life references, when Homelander comments on the script and says the Joss rewrites really sing, when Billy tells Stan Edgar that he's got the photos of Homelander's son and that they'll be in Ronan Farrow's email in the next couple in like 10 minutes if you don't let us go.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten a celebrity like cameo or something.
We got Seth Rogen.
We did?
Mm-hmm.
Was he in this season?
It's the same thing he did last episode, like he was talking about. It's like when they're flipping through the channels and you just see Seth Rogen.
Okay.
This question here from the real Ricky T. Do you think that the church is still going to play a role in season 3, or with Alistair dead, is it done?
I thought that was another red herring too. The church. It was just a ploy to make us think that they had something to do with it.
I think maybe there'll be a new leader of the church, and eventually they'll approach.
Deep. Oh.
Maybe that's what he does in season 3, and then they go to A-Train and say, "Hey, we got you back in the 7. You need to do this fucked up thing for us," and that's how they bring them in some way. This question here from Steve Del AC. Do you think that Butcher made the right choice leaving Ryan with the feds?
No.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't think so.
I think so. He's not gonna. You can't have him be raised by Butcher.
That's exactly what we need.
No, we don't.
That's what the boys need. The
creating
boys
another
need Ryan.
Well, I do think that Ryan can come into play. I was thinking maybe there might be even a time jump between these 2 seasons.
I was going to ask
so
you.
So maybe he's like 15, 16, and in a position to use his powers to, I guess, stand up against Homelander. Because right now, no matter how it's perceived, I mean, Homelander's still there and will fuck all them up if he wants to. So if there's not a known weakness, the only person that can stand up to him right now is Ryan, you would think.
If you think about it, though, a lot of shit happens between days in this show. So if you go years, how much is going to happen between those times, you know?
I think you can have Huey.
I think maybe a couple of years. I think it goes a couple of years. And
I think that might actually be a good because like Huey could be in with the Newman campaign or whatever. You know, Mother's Milk has spent a couple of years with his family. Frenchie and Kimiko are doing their thing. Butcher's kind of leading this other ragtag group of people with his CIA workings. And then, you know, something happens and they kind of got to get the band back together.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ryan could be a character that maybe shows up again in season 5. And they're like, this is the final play to take down Homelander, but we're just missing something.
Like, we don't see Ryan until, like, the end of season 3.
Yeah, and he's just a kid who's been working out alone in Wyoming, rural Wyoming. Just football star, building his powers up, getting
Chopping
ready to
wood.
fucking kill his dad. Yeah. It's like, this
no
is
shirt on.
Because, I mean, him being kidnapped is what leads to his mom's death. So I think eventually he'll grow up to blame his father. And he doesn't seem to be too thrilled with his father at the end of this episode anyway. So, or we may never see Ryan again. I don't know. Homelander's kind of put in an impossible situation here because if he goes after his kid, that's the thing. Is Maeve still going to care about Butcher? If Homelander goes after Butcher in 2 weeks, is Maeve going to be like,
Maeve just cares about
I got to drop the video now because you killed Billy Butcher?
No, Maeve just wants the control over Homelander. That's what she has right now.
That's a good point.
So I think that's going to stay with Maeve forever until she's done with the 7. Does Maeve get on a power trip now? Being able to control Homelander?
Well, that's the thing. Maeve joined the fight, and now she shares that with Starlight, where they both went off the books.
Yeah. Oh, how's that going to work, too, with that chemistry in there?
Well, that's the most genuine Homelander has ever been at one of those press conferences, because he's always making those remarks about how friendly they are. But he was just beaten down in that moment, where he couldn't even... It didn't come off as fake. He's like, these are 2 of my good friends, and their heroism was inspiring, and they got the job done. And he's just being very straightforward.
Those
and
eyes.
Then those eyes.
Fucking, yeah.
Do you have like a landing strip behind your house or something?
This question here from Palak: who had the best performance in season 2? It's Anthony Starr.
Anthony Starr. He killed it, bro, all season.
Well, we have another question here from Maddie, and they were saying who wins this season, Anthony Starr or Carl Urban. Carl Urban maybe number 2.
Yeah, Carl Urban, he plays Butcher. I mean, there is some depth to that character, but it's mostly just like the bravado, the charisma, that Butcher swagger. That's just fucking, it's just awesome. You know, it's just such a cool character, and he plays him so well in that. But the amount of layers with Homelander, and he has to change on a dime between scenes. You know, one scene he's the public figure, then he's the fucking complete psychopath. And there's a ton of in between as well.
And now he's a parent taking his kid to Vaultland. You're going to love the milkshakes here.
Yeah.
That was also a sweet moment. Ryan's getting overwhelmed by the sensory information, and I wanted more of that in Man of Steel. I love those scenes in Man of Steel. Young Superman trying to get a grasp of his heightened senses.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's just playing everybody.
Mm-hmm. It really is remarkable.
Get him in more. He's going to blow up, you think, right, after this show?
I hope so.
I mean, I hope he's got a good agent, because right now it's his star is burning as bright as it ever has. This is the moment to get into some, like, I want to see him in some A24s, you know, some dramas, rather than more big blockbusters. Make this guy a household name. This question here from Juanito: was Homelander taking it easy on Stormfront with the laser beams, or is Ryan just overpowered? Once again, I think that's a moment where maybe they are establishing that Ryan is more powerful than his father when he wants to be, but I think that's just a moment of writing. Ryan accidentally kills Stormfront in this moment, but Stormfront didn't die when Homelander lasered her.
He wasn't I mean, he obviously has control over his laser. I mean,
No, she asks him to go full pour, though.
See, that's the thing. I don't think with this show, I think that's a good point. He was,
because when he lights up the milk, he's not burning through the milk. He's
Right.
just warming it up. He has different temperatures for his lasers.
and I think this was more of the lasers are out of control. It didn't seem like a straight line. It seemed like an
going
explosion. Right, yeah, just like a blast.
It's like if, what's his face?
Such a
Cyclops takes his glasses off. He has no control over it when he opens it.
Right, yeah. It was just, that's what it kind of felt like, Cyclops taking off the glasses. So maybe Ryan, they are establishing that when he gets to Homelander's age, he will be more powerful.
Well, it's like in Supernatural. I know you guys don't like this show, but in Supernatural, there's a angel/human. He was the first angel human, and he's the most powerful angel ever.
Right, shows always do that. The
Yeah.
naturally born is always the strongest. So that was interesting when they
Harry
called
Potter,
him.
right?
No.
Harry's not that strong, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, Harry Potter's like the 10th strongest character in that show.
That movie is very. Like,
I'm pretty sure
misleading with Harry.
Hermione could give him hands.
She could.
Yeah, definitely.
Voldemort gives him hands.
Voldemort should have won that. I mean, you're fighting a fucking kid.
Snape or Voldemort?
In a fight?
Yeah.
Voldemort. What are you, dumb? This question here from 6O's28. Jamie Lannister with two hands or the boys? Who you got?
Oh, the boys.
And what?
In fighting.
A sword fight?
Butcher's got his crowbar.
Okay.
Frenchie's got Kamiko. That's the thing. If you have Kamiko, I don't care how good Jamie
Yeah.
Lannister is.
Bro,
He's
Kamiko
just-
was bodying her for a little bit, too.
Yeah, she was.
That was
Yeah, no,
fucking
even in the
great.
beginning, before
Yeah.
Maeve got there.
She got some blood on her.
She needs to go to superhero training. She needs to go to the spinoff. The spinoff show that they're doing with the super school. They just
They
need
are?
to send Kamiko there. You didn't hear about this?
No.
Weren't you on the pod?
No. I didn't go to this spot.
No, it was a couple weeks ago. We talked about the boys spinoff show.
I wasn't on that one.
Are you sure?
Positive.
This question here from Dahlia. When do you think that Homelander in season 3 will go crazy? What are the chances in season 3 that you think Homelander will go crazy?
I think by
that's a
the end.
Good final question here.
Yeah.
I think it's very high that he goes crazy.
I mean, he is crazy, but like publicly crazy.
Yeah.
To do something irredeemable in the eyes of the public. I think that's where. Well, it all depends how long these seasons are going to go for. How many seasons the show is going to go for. If it's 6, it becomes less likely that he's going to do that in season 3. That kind of seems like an endgame type scenario.
Do
Where
you
maybe
think-
he goes crazy and then there's a season of him and then in that like dictator type authoritarian superhero role, then they take him out by the end.
No, he should go crazy, and then he should go crazy, and then the next episode he's killed.
That'd be great. Do you think, though, that...
It's Game of Thrones.
Do you think that
I don't
chance of him to go crazy was right there when...
He is
when,
crazy already.
Well, you know what I
so,
mean.
Yeah.
Like, well, because
No, to
Maeve...
go crazy.
Yeah, like Maeve showed him the video, and I think he made that decision to not do it, so I think he's never going to do it.
Well, his
True.
response was, "You do that, and I'll destroy everything."
That's true.
And he's not joking. He'd just destroy everything.
But she's
Maybe he pushes Maeve and she just has to release it, and he's just like, fuck this.
That's the thing. I think he's going to be put in a situation where it's not even coming from a place of anger. It's coming from a place of straight up fear, where he's just backed into so many corners, and he eventually just lets those eyes go off.
I wanted something to be where, like, say it goes 5 seasons, end of season 4, he does it.
Then season
And
5.
season
and take him
5
down.
is just him kind of controlling everything, and then them trying to figure out a way to stop him.
I think that would be perfect. Final season is evil Homelander season. And I think this show is, the way it's being paced, 4 or 5 seasons sounds all right.
I'll take that.
Well, I'm worried about, like, not worried, but, like, what are they going to do next season? Is it going to be the same thing where they're just trying to bring down Vought or bring down Newman or whatever?
Well, I think they have just a clean slate, because season 1 was very much a cliffhanger where we knew where it was going, that Ryan was going to play a big role in this season. And Butcher, we just didn't know. There were a lot of question marks. But like you said, with season 3, they can kind of just go in any direction, and they're going to bring in Soldier Boy. So obviously Vought still has to deal with the fallout, the blowback from what just happened with Stormfront.
Is the next season the season that puts the show from like good to great or great to perfect?
If they come out and they have because I think season 2 may not be as good as season 1, but they're very close. And I love season 1. I gave season 1 a 9.5 out of 10. This may be the same. I think if season 3 comes out with the same quality of season, and if it's the best season, it's going to become one of those giant hit shows. It's already pretty big.
So to piggyback that, do you think if this show was on Netflix, it'd be even bigger than it is right now?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think Amazon Prime is shutting it down a little bit?
Maybe it's the highest rated Netflix show, but it looks like it's already close to the top
Yeah.
rated Netflix. I'm surprised by how many people have Amazon Prime. Everyone's got it. Good for Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Glad that they could get a win. All right, that's The Boys Season 2, Episode 8, finale spoiler discussion. Thank you guys for joining us all season. We hope you like this video, share it with your friends, enjoy it, chime in, comment your questions, comment your thoughts. We always like surfing through those comments. Just kidding, we don't do that because sometimes you're mean, but most of the times you're very positive. And
What kind of pancakes should I get? What
blueberry.
are Uber Eats? Blueberry?
Blueberry, without
yeah,
a doubt. Yeah.
always.
I was
Chocolate
thinking
chip is
strawberry
always
banana.
not a terrible alternative there.
Yeah, don't do chocolate chip. That gets old.
Chocolate chip is just
How do
too
people
much
get
chocolate.
cupcake like, I'm seeing the options.
Where are you getting pancakes from?
IHOP.
And Teddy, any last thoughts here? Ordering any food?
No.
Okay,
No,
well,
go home to Hunter and hang out with Hunter.
oh, that's
watch
nice.
football.
Nice Thursday night football at midnight. All right, guys,
Oh,
thank
shit.
you guys for thank you guys for listening.
There's
And
our continuity, huh?
we will be back with more episodes of the Nerd Soup podcast and more reviews. We will be continuing our MCU Revisited, and October 30th, we have the first episode of The Mandalorian Season 2. We will be back to review Season 2 of
Nice.
Mando. And we've got Ghost of Tsushima coming out this month, our game review. It's
Yeah.
taken us a bit to finish it, but we're all done. We've liberated the island.
Are we doing Bly House?
Say that again?
Bly House Manor?
Well, would you look at that? It's finally over. Hey guys, Bo Oliver here for one final send-off. Now, before I beg you guys to like and share this video, I'd like to thank our very special Patreon pledgers. We are very proud of the community we've been able to build here at Nerd Soup, and it would not have been possible without our Patreon supporters. You guys are the true MVPs of this channel. Everything I've said, you keep the fridge full, you keep the lights on. There aren't enough words to thank you guys, but we'll do it anyway. Thank you. And we have a few videos coming up that have been suggested to us by Patreon pledgers. My Hero Academia, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and Full Metal Alchemist will be reviewed by Marissa and yours truly, and Castlevania, which will be reviewed by Marissa and Aaron. And if you'd like to consider donating to our Patreon page, you can visit patreon.com/nerdsoup and check out some of the rewards we offer to our listeners. And really, we'd like to thank everyone who takes the time out of their day to watch our videos. Patreon pledger or not, your support is what keeps us motivated to keep giving the world our opinions on movies and TV shows and video games and pop culture, even though no one asked for it. We're still here, we're still yapping, and we hope you continue to join us. I'm Bo Oliver, and I support this message.